Welcome back to the Anxiety Slayer podcast. I'm Shan Vanderleek here with my wonderful friend and co-host Ananga Sivir. Hello, Ananga.
Hey, Shan.
Let's dive into the top 5 questions that we get asked about anxiety attacks.
The most common one by far, we've received this so many times and we've done a couple of shows on it, is how can I stop anxiety attacks if I don't know what's causing them?
Yeah, that is a good one. Often we don't see the cause of our anxiety, and that can really add to the overwhelm and confusion that often comes with anxiety attacks. Sometimes there are triggers that we can't see, aren't aware of, and sometimes there's what we call a drip effect of anxiety building up beneath the surface of our awareness until it reaches a tipping point and we experience a full-on anxiety attack.
Anxiety can really feel like an invisible enemy that can strike without warning and just take you down. It's really hard to live with that looming presence that you can feel with it. But there are many ways of looking at what's lying under the surface. Sometimes it is just this drip effect that builds up and tips us over the edge. In other episodes, we've talked about Ayurveda, India's ancient science of life, and how understanding your body and mind type can help you support yourself through nutrition, breathing, and lifestyle adjustments that can all help protect you from anxiety attacks. We've discussed many times, Shan, how these are really important factors that can either help or give rise to anxiety. So really good to learn more about those things.
It's also important to note that getting support from someone who understands anxiety attacks is a good place to start. You might choose a book, an online course, or an anxiety coach to help you gain a better understanding of anxiety attacks and their triggers. Working with a coach one-on-one can help you explore and eliminate the triggers that we've been referring to in your life and learn some coping and calming skills. And certainly this leads to EFT tapping, which we talk about quite often. And EFT is a powerful way to calm anxiety and your feelings about having anxiety. We have an entire page devoted to EFT on our website at anxietyslayer.com/EFT if you'd like to learn more.
Yeah, we get messages all the time from members in our private Facebook group and listeners to the podcast that are trying tapping and reporting great results with it. I've been using it since 1999 and I've learned many tools over the years, but there's not many I can say I use consistently, regularly, almost on a daily basis 20 years later, but EFT is the one that I do. Really worth investing some time in learning it properly, learning it thoroughly. It's not hard to learn, but you get much better results when you know how to apply it to your own personal triggers, personal challenges. Sometimes we have some fears about overcoming anxiety. We have fear of the fear, all these things that come around with the anxiety experience and the suffering of anxiety. And EFT tapping is useful for every single one of those challenges. So really worth learning it properly. And if you get the opportunity to have a session with somebody who really knows it inside out and can help you get it working for you, it's a very valuable use of some time.
The next question that we hear a lot about anxiety is people wonder why they feel so unsettled for several days after an anxiety attack. And I think it's important to just remember that anxiety attacks are traumatic to our bodies and minds. They cause massive surge of adrenaline that really can leave us feeling shaken and unsettled for a good few days. And this is where we really need to tap into self-care. And touching on Ayurveda again, we can understand that anxiety attacks disturb the very energy that provokes them in the first place. So you've heard us mention the Vata body type many, many times. The Vata body type is more sensitive to suffering with anxiety and anxiety attacks. So these attacks can be really disruptive to that same Vata energy. And when you know that, you can put some practices in place to help you while you're feeling unsettled after you've had an anxiety attack.
One very simple way to do that is to support yourself with focusing on grounding as much as you can. That could be a gentle walk in nature or a warm bath with some lavender oil and magnesium. or massaging your feet before sleep. Also eating nourishing, warming, simple meals. And most important of all, showing yourself self-compassion. If we saw somebody else having an anxiety attack, we would feel very compassionate for what was happening with them. If you could really see what was going on in somebody's body and mind internally, it's a huge event, a huge shock to the nervous system. So we need to show ourselves compassion and slow down and soften up on ourselves. Otherwise, we're just adding to our own stress. And it's really easy for us to be hard on ourselves and feel we should be doing this, or go to that place of, am I weak? Am I crazy? It's completely natural to feel unsettled after an anxiety attack. If we cut our finger and it bleeds, we don't get heavy on our finger. It's what happens.
Right.
When we have a massive adrenaline event in our body, this is what happens. So we need to know how to take care of that. And so much you can do to calm them down, and you can stop anxiety attacks. So much to be learned and applied that can change the whole experience, but it begins with compassion.
Without question. And then the third question that comes up a lot is, how can I stop the fear of an attack? I'm constantly worried I could have an anxiety attack when I'm away from home, which is, just so stressful to be in that space of worry.
Yeah, and again, it's really naturally where the mind goes. If you have an episode like that away from home, then your mind will say, don't leave the home. Do you remember what happened to you last time? And the way the mind says that to us is with worrying thoughts and anxiety symptoms in our body. That's how it conveys that to us. And it feels awful. So it's very, very challenging. But I recommend, first of all, finding out something about how this works. There's a whole way that this works. And once you understand it, it starts to fall apart and feel a bit easier. It's really natural to think ahead and worry about what might happen when we have these experiences when we're out. But there are many ways that we can support ourselves to stop the anxiety attacks and to stop the fear of the attacks.
We also recommend that you get yourself some Bach Flowers rescue remedy and carry it with you. Keep it in your purse, keep it in your car. They have sprays, they have drops, they even have the little, I believe they're sugar-free candies that you can pop in your mouth. They're so very helpful. Also tapping again, learning EFT tapping, because tapping really can help you stop the fear of an attack. It can also stop anxiety attacks in their tracks. And once you know how to do that, and it really is a skill anyone can learn, the fear will never be the same again.
Yeah, it all changes. As soon as you know how to stop one, everything changes.
And then the next question that we get often is it normal to feel nauseous and lightheaded with a panic attack?
Yeah, and I've certainly had experience of both. Some people have one or the other, some have both. But yes, any high stress can make us feel lightheaded and sometimes feel like we're going to pass out. And certainly any stressful event affects our stomach and can make us feel nauseous. Anxiety has a real effect on shutting down our digestive system. So digestion gets really upset, and nausea is one of the results of that. So perfectly normal and perfectly horrible.
Yeah, right.
A really unpleasant experience. But there's so much, again, you can do about it. One thing that really helps is to get the EFT tapping points. Again, we're talking about tapping a lot because it really does take care of these things. So go get that chart from our website at anxietyslayer.com/EFT. Have a look through the points, and the point under the eye, tapping there helps nausea because it's on the stomach channel, the stomach meridian as it's known in Chinese medicine. So tapping on that point really helps reduce nausea, and taking deep breaths, focusing on a long exhalation while you do that can be very helpful. Also patting on the inside of your wrists. Some EFT practitioners cross their wrists and tap one across the other one. That can be helpful. Or just patting with your fingertips on the wrist. That can really help calm nausea.
I also find that I always keep candied ginger in the house and just pop a piece of candied ginger in my mouth really helps with nausea, or ginger tea, which is really easy to make or easy to buy.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Ginger's really good.
Such a great help.
Yeah, it's really helpful, especially if you're waking with that morning nausea. You can just make a light ginger tea. Ginger also calms vata, which is this energy, this body type that's more prone to anxiety. So a ginger tea in the morning is very good for nausea, for anxiety. You can also put ginger in your bath, and that's very helpful. So yeah, that's a great tip. That's great to be reminded of that. And for lightheadedness, patting the EFT point under your arm can really help. So you just pat firmly, cross your right hand across to the left side of your body and pat firmly there for a few seconds, where you take deep, steady breaths, and then cross your left hand back over the right and pat under the right arm. Really quite firm patting, and it helps you feel very grounded, very in your body.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, we're often asked if anxiety attacks can be stopped without medication.
Yes.
And our answer is absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I've done it. Many have done it. Absolutely, they can be stopped without medication. But I do recommend getting support. Trying to go it alone can be difficult. You need a process, you need a system to follow, whether it's a course or an anxiety coach. You need support. Anxiety really messes with our thinking, and we can get lost down the rabbit hole with it. Some days we'll think we're making progress, then we may have an anxiety episode or a setback, and it can be very confusing. So having help along the way, troubleshooting, getting the best from the techniques, looking for hidden triggers, and just knowing all of those things that can help you get support and just gently and steadily put one foot in front of the other. The attacks themselves can be stopped very quickly once you know how to do it. And it's the rumble behind them that requires a bit of extra help. But yeah, very doable.
Well, I'm glad we came together today to talk about these top 5 questions, and that we have the remedies and examples of how you can move through an anxiety attack, how you can stop an anxiety attack in its tracks. Thank you for listening. You're welcome to join our Patreon with over 200 guided relaxations, tapping sessions, and classes to help you slay your anxiety. Visit patreon.com/anxietyslayer.